is. If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 21 of Great Race Plays, right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your proud host, Howard Kravitz, on with co-host Pete Visco and Paul Halloran from respectively Maryland and Massachusetts. We are here to talk about our usual 9:30 Thursday evening live fare, and that would be the Sunday Late Pick 4 at the Great Race Place. Santa Anita, please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Notification bell on the top right, and smash that like button below the video player, plus your comments. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We've got a fantastic Power Picks tip sheet. Look below the video player in the description for information about our Power Picks tip sheet. Plus, you can go to our great website, hhhracingpodcast.com, to find out all about it. Gentlemen, we just finished our show on Picks and Ponies here live Thursday night with unbelievable viewership. We want to thank everyone, especially those of you on the West Coast or listening and watching on the Santa Anita X channel. Had a very lively discussion that kept Paul awake, and hopefully he'll last the next 35 minutes with Gino Bacola. Maybe I should go to you, Pete, first so he can recoup from the last show. How you doing tonight, Pete?
I'm great. Long time no see, fellas. It's good to be back. Good to be talking West Coast racing. We love it.
Absolutely. Paul, I didn't ask you this on our last show, but it's real quick. Reminisce just for 30 seconds about Memorial Day, what it means to you. Do you have any fond memories of what you do with your family, parades, just anything in general, as we thank our wonderful servicemen and women of our country who are sacrificing their freedom for ours. Memorial Day weekend, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned on the last show, Howard, obviously Memorial Day is the day that we especially thank the ones who gave the ultimate sacrifice, right? And we get to come on here and blow V8. Not that I blow V8, but others sometimes do. And it's I think we all probably. I'm glad you brought it up because I think we all. We're looking forward to the races and hot dogs and hamburgers. And, let's face it, we take a lot for granted, and I think that probably came into focus on 9/11/01, right? When, we had to send very quickly, send a lot of young folks off into foreign lands. I'm in my house. I have my sister-in-law living next door, who's an Army veteran. My wife's brother flew Marine helicopter pilots, shuttled Navy SEALs around. So, I think it's very worthwhile to mention. And, of course, we can't thank enough those who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
I can't help thinking you mentioned Navy SEAL, who's actually a pretty good horse running Monday. How coincidental would that be on Memorial Day weekend if Navy SEAL wins on Monday in the stake race? Pete, I'll ask you the same question quickly. I think it's worth it to take a minute on that. I'll say for myself, most of you wouldn't know because I don't talk about it very much, but I do play the drums. I play percussion. And I was in our high school. I was in the junior high and high school marching band in our local community of about 20,000 people where I grew up. And we'd also we'd always march in the Memorial Day parade, which when you're 12, 13, 14, 15 years old is pretty cool. You're walking in front of thousands of people and you're playing music. And so that's one of my favorite Memorial Day weekend sort of memories that I don't get to do anymore. Anything from you, Pete?
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was thinking about it, and we tend not to do much now in my older age. We tend to lay low most of the weekend. It's funny. My wife sent me. There's an app called Time Hop, which basically brings back pictures from your past or stuff on your phone, so you're reminded of things that happened years ago. And on yesterday, what's today? Thursday. Yesterday, we got like 6 yards of mulch delivered. So my weekend is literally going to be shoveling mulch. And my wife got a Time Hop from like 4 years ago. And it was my son, Jackson, when he was younger, sitting on the top of a pile of mulch.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, boy, we really know how to spend the holiday right. So apparently my holiday consists of mulch, but I agree with everything Paul said, but I think for some of us, it just become, we get to where we're, sometimes it just becomes a day off and we don't always think about the meaning behind the holiday. And I think more people should.
I agree with you. Well said, Pete. Well, look, we've got important stuff to talk about this weekend. Obviously, Memorial Day is a big stakes day at Santa Anita, but these Sunday Lake Pick Fours, excuse me, have been really good on that we cover. We're up to episode 21. This Late Pick Four Sunday, I know it feels like I say this a lot. This might be the toughest one we've covered. I mean, this is a very fun and difficult Late Pick Four on Sunday at the Great Race Plays. Guys, let's go ahead and jump right in here as I go ahead and bring up our wonderful Equibase entries up on the screen to talk about Sunday's Late Pick Four. It starts in race 7, and it starts at 4 p.m. Pacific Coast time. That'd be 7 p.m. on the East Coast as you're enjoying your maybe family Memorial Day, pre-Memorial Day barbecue or whatever. Hopefully the weather's going to be nice wherever you're going to be. This is a 10 claimer, 6 furlongs. Fillies and mares. It's a field of 8. Again, we don't have morning lines. Pretty tough race, I thought. Let's go ahead and bring up our picks. I'm going 8-6-5. Pete is going 6-4-3. And look at Paul. Paul is also going, what a smart man, 8-6-5, which is crazy, Paul, because I thought this was sort of a tough race. And you can go a lot of ways, and somehow we came up with the top 3. Hopefully your and I's sakes were me right. Pete's like, you guys are nuts. I don't know why you're not using the 4 and the 3 also. But Pete, let's go to the sane one on the screen. What say you about the number 6 Stellar Cap for Gary Studi and Bautista? Again, we don't have a morning line, but will not be favored. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, sane and me have not usually been in the same sentence, so I'll take that as a compliment for once. Yeah, I thought this was. It's funny. I thought this was a tough race, but this was actually the horse that I liked the most in the sequence and had as my
Really?
sort of lone A. But it was with a. It was weird because I sort of go through the race and I'm like, when I look after the fact, I'm like, oh, I only had one A in this race, so I guess I must like this horse. So you talked about Gary Studi, who's 0 for 15. He's 0 for 15. Well, oh no, I'm sorry. Batista's 0 for 15 at the meet. Studi's 0 for 2 only, but hasn't hit the board. So just between the jockey trainer combo, it's a little funny. But he's second after the claim on dirt, 14 out of 19 in the money. So I kind of like the fact of maybe he gets a horse, runs the horse once, then can come back and can get the next race is where the horse sort of moves forward a bit. And if you look back at the past races prior to the claim definitely fit in this field and actually would be sort of near the top of the field. And I just thought from a trip perspective, should get a stalking trip. Now, the problem is with some of these horses we look at, they get the trip and they can't finish it off. And this horse doesn't always finish the races off very well. But I don't know. Against a field that I think is pretty even, maybe this one can get the trip. Second off the layoff, second with the new trainer. Maybe there's just enough there to move the horse forward. Again, it's a single A for me, which is weird in a race that I thought was otherwise pretty even. So after this horse, I think I wound up having, like 4 Bs or something. So
Yeah.
It was pretty even after I got past this horse, and I don't have 100% confidence in her either.
Yeah, I mean, Paul and I have our second. Stellar Cap can absolutely win. I just can't get over the 1 for 38 last year with the jockey, now 0 for 15.
Yeah.
For you mathematicians out there, or if you're not, that'd be 1 for 53. No bueno, but Pete, you pulled up stats that are 0 for and 1 for, and they end up winning.
Hey,
so.
there's a 1 there, so they had, they won 1, so why not win another one? That's my theory.
Twilight Empire, Paul, I don't want to steal your thunder. I'll let you talk. There's something in there's 2 things I like about this horse. I'll let you talk. She is 8, not easy to trust. Fry stays aboard though, and this is second time, right? Yeah, second time for Barocchio, who actually is a trainer that we mentioned last week when a horse I liked that ran it was a 5-1 or 6-1, almost won the penultimate leg of the pick 4 last week. What do you like about Twilight Empire, Paul?
Well, I like the position. I think that she gets a pretty good trip from out there, and I just couldn't get past that first race in Southern Cal on the February 8th. It was at Santa Anita. Very good race. I think that race wins this race.
Yeah.
Pretty easily, and she got to get back to it. Obviously. she's 8 now. So like me, she's not getting any younger, except she's probably asleep now and I'm up talking to you guys. Although she's on West Coast time, so she might not be. But yeah, it's a tough race. And Pete, you know what? You might as well just have a single A in here because
That's the thing, right? Either
yeah,
go either go 6 or
difficult.
1, right?
But,
At this
but I
point.
do like this horse, Howard. I think this horse is in the sequence. Certainly one of my top selections.
By the way, Howard, you said something about trust, and it's funny. The last note I had for that 8 horse was tough to trust. I just couldn't figure it out because
Yeah.
8-year-old, and you're like, man, those 2 last races weren't so good. Is the 8-year-old just finally winding down?
Right.
Who the hell knows? Sometimes with some of these.
No, this is not my one of my best picks of the weekend or anything, but it is worth watching this replay. Twilight is the 4 here on the inside, taking a lot of mud and climbing. Watch what she has to do. She's ready to make a run here, guys, and there were a lot of horses coming out of this same race that are running again on Sunday. Right here, she's got run, and she has to wait. She was gonna go inside, and then look at that, makes like a real severe. Did you see that? Like turn to the outside. She did have some run on the lane. I mean, it wasn't tremendous. It's right here, but no one was getting to the winner. The rest of the horses that are in this race, guys, are like around this area, and she had to make that kind of weird veer out to the right. And I mean, it's not like she's losing by that much. I think the outside post and the blinkers on and a dry track might move her up, Paul. That was my thinking. But look, I think you have to spread in this race, and if you hear the word spread, that might be a common theme throughout this pick 4 because wow, this is a very difficult one. So anyway, I'm going 8-6-5. Pete's going 6-4-3. Paul's going the same 8-6-5 as me in the opening leg of the late pick 4 on Sunday. Let's go to race 8. It is a 1.1 miles. So I go ahead and bring it up on the screen right now. It's a 1.1 miles maiden race. The rails are out 10 feet on Sunday. 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. $60,000 is the purse. Field of 8. West is a first-time reported gelding. Tough to say who the favorite's going to be in this race. Also, a lot of different ways you can go. Let me go ahead and put our picks on the screen. I'm going 3-7-2. Pete's going 3-7-5. Paul's going 2-7-3. This time, Paul is the outlier. Mutaz, a Baffert horse, going long on turf. For JJ. What do you like about Mutaz, Paul?
Yeah, and I think Mutaz might be the favorite, which I hate, by the way. Second time starters on turf, Pete, you'll like this. You may have it.
No.
Baffert, 14%. But if you add maiden to the equation, it goes down to 1 for 17.
I think I saw that. I didn't write it down, but I think I saw that one.
So,
by the way, the Triple Crown nominated Mutaz, Paul. Triple Crown nominated. How about that?
Well, I mean, it's Zidane, although 550 for Zidane is bargain basement.
We go right from this to the Belmont, no? You figure just win here and then come, try the dirt in the Belmont. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that a horse that they paid 550 for is Triple Crown nominated because you don't want to get into the situation of having to supplement on top of the race now for 6 figures. But yeah, I don't know. Again, unusual for Baffert to start a horse like this on turf, but he keeps him on turf. I don't think this is the best field in the world. I think this is an even tougher race than the last one, Howard, but I am going to end up with Mutaz.
Okay, Paul, I'm sure you saw
go ahead,
this.
Howard. You go first.
There's some weird action going on with the 9. Here's Mutaz singing a good trip. I don't know if you watched this replay or not, Paul, but this horse was very weird in the stretch. Looked like he had a run and then just had some weird action. Go ahead, Paul.
He put him under a ride early. Right there,
right here. What is he doing? Like,
yeah,
he can't control
him. It almost looks like he backed off a little. I don't know if he took a bad step, but he certainly did not run through the lane.
No, but then he runs on again a little bit here. It was very weird.
He does. It's like that 6 horse we were looking at on the other show.
Winning Patriot. Yeah, a little weird.
I'm hoping that the stretch out is actually going to help this horse. I think these horses that fade a little and then stretch out get under bet a little bit because people are going to assume, well, he faded at a mile. Now he's stretching out. I
Right.
look at it the exact opposite.
The only stat I had that I didn't like was the dam side was 2 for 43 turf routes. So that was something where I was looking at it again. But I that was a weird horse to me. I didn't know what to do with that. Bafferts on the turf are always weird to begin with, and then a young one, they're hard to gauge, I think.
Yeah, they just, in generally speaking, they don't perform well, except a horse named De Jour, who's actually a nice
Yeah, that
horse
one,
for
that one,
Baffert
I've had that
on
one
the
a few
turf.
times. Yeah, I like
Unrivaled Hero, Pete. You and I are going with this one, the number 3 for Glatt and Barrios. And there's two things that I normally would not like about Unrivaled Hero that I'll just point out before I let you expound.
fire
Number
away.
1, this 3-year-old is 0 for 6. Don't love that. Number 2, they thought so much highly of this horse that he was already down to main 50. But now he's getting better, improving. And I actually like the last replay quite a bit, which we'll watch the stretch run.
Yeah, nope, I agree with everything you said. The couple other things that I liked were came back in 2025 and has incrementally got better. And then you're the one you're going to show. I thought that was a pretty decent, steadied a little bit. I thought it was a pretty decent performance. You'll sort of, I forget
the 4 did get a very good ground saving trip. And there's many in this race that are coming back. I thought the hole just wasn't quite there when he needed it to be. I mean, it looks like it's there, but he just, I don't know, maybe it was there. He just couldn't get through, or he just wasn't good. He right there, he sort of got bumped, and I don't know. It's not like he's a superstar, but that was enough trouble for me. And he does regather. And of course, we're going to show past the wire.
Of course. I mean, that's what sadly, I think watched the gallop out on this one, and I didn't want to say anything, but the gallop out was nice. But again, it was you're talking about a horse who isn't, I guess it's six start, so not super fresh and green, but that was it's still a young horse and they're still learning, and sometimes they don't hit those holes the way you hope that they would. But it could have been a learning experience, and it was a 1 1/8 and did come on late, so the distance shouldn't be an issue. That's what I was thinking. Got a lifetime buyer top, lifetime time form top, and then the last 3 hit the board second or third in the last 3. It was pretty close and had Lasix in all 3. So maybe the Lasix moved the horse up a bit, and now that's why he's improving. But yeah, and
I don't
Barrios
think he's going to be this far
again.
back. I think this is crazy. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I'm wondering if that was a little bit based on the earlier races in 24. So that's maybe dragging it back a bit.
I'm hoping he's going to be somewhere in here.
I agree. That was I had to should sort of stalk. And the pace doesn't look to be fast, but I thought should be close enough to sort of stalk.
It's the kind of horse, Pete, that again I don't normally like for the reasons I said, but this field is sort of meh. And
I mean, there's nobody you like, right?
He is getting better though, right? I mean, that's legitimate. I mean, obviously, look at the numbers. I mean, he's getting better. So I'm the 0 for 6. I'm like, I can deal with that. I think number 7 Broski, guys, is the horse, or Broski is the horse to beat for D'Amato and Camaro. But again, he's hard to trust. He's 0 for 7, 6 out of 7. Loves to finish underneath. He was the horse that had the lead there in the race we just saw and got beat by a nose. I mean, do we really think that Broski is really that much better than Unrivaled Hero? I definitely don't think so. And you're going to get a bigger price on our horse, Pete and Paul. So, I don't know. We're all trying to beat this favorite here. In saying that, Paul, this horse can absolutely win.
Yes. Yeah. You talking about Broski?
Broski, yeah.
Yeah, I have Broski as an A, and I agree with you. The 0 for 7, and so the horse is getting better. Although interestingly, he floated up to 8 to 1 in that race last time. So maybe people are getting a little tired of this Geldings act.
Yeah, it's another tough race that's pretty wide open. These field sizes aren't like monstrous Sunday, but boy, I just thought they were inscrutable, so to speak. Just tough to figure. Let's go ahead on to leg 3 of the Sunday late pick 4 at the Great Race Place here on Great Race Plays Santa Anita. And guys, of course, when we're talking about the penultimate leg of a pick 4 at Santa Anita, that means only one thing. Here it is.
Now offered at the Great Race Place. $3 late pick 3 featuring the last 3 races. $5 late double on the last 2 races. Both with a player-friendly 15% takeout. Every race day at Santa Anita Park.
Oh, we're back on. Sorry. Okay. Love when Frankie does that. Wish he'd be winning more races these days, but that's another topic of conversation. Main 16, guys, penultimate leg of the pick four filly three-year-old fillies. Wow, or older. Field of 8. Again, another tough morning line to figure. Let's go with our picks on the screen in race 9 on Sunday. I'm going 154. Pete's going 815, and Paul's going 814. I am the outlier this time, guys. So I'm going to go. Why not go in California with the Utah bred? That's right, the Utah bred.
You'll see a
Number
ton of those,
1.
right? I don't remember seeing too many of those.
Pete, you got a stat on that Utah breds
I
at
do
Santa
not.
Anita?
No, I
Come on now,
apologize.
man.
I didn't even notice that, so I'm glad you said
Wow,
it. I didn't even
that
notice.
is really disappointing.
Yeah.
Whoops. So it's also disappointing. I keep clicking on the wrong PP. Look, Utah Breds can win, believe it or not, in the right spot. Mucho Magical has not. I don't like this horse for any reasons that have to do with the state in which he was bred in. He's she's lightly raced by Mucho Macho Man out of City Zip Mare. I like the blinks off, and I like Rispoli, guys. I think he's going to save ground. I think he's going to be a little bit further off the pace, which I think is good because this number 8 that you're going to talk about is the speed, but there might be other speed in here. And last time I checked, guys, I heard Rispoli does okay saving ground on the dirt.
That
I don't
might
know.
be his style a little bit.
I just think this one can pass and will be taken off the pace and is lightly raced. I don't have any like special magic, not even mucho magical thoughts here. I just like a few things about her. She's a little bit of a fuzzy in this kind of race and been working well too, actually. And I think before her last start, actually. And I think she's interesting. Plus, she has a white-brown fox on her back of the silks.
Very nice. That's always a good
People at home
reason.
are like, "What is
That's always a good reason.
What is
to
wrong
pay
with that?" Hey, you got to give a reason. Anyway, let's go.
One thing I did wonder real quick about that one came at
Yeah.
one that at the maiden 20 and then maybe jumped and went back to the turf,
far,
which she doesn't seem to be as good at. And maybe just jumped a little too high and now is getting back to a more reasonable level.
Yes. Save the Clock Tower is here, by the way. He said it's a game of Cahoots. Cahoots, by the way, a very good game that the teenagers like. If you're not familiar with Kahoot, it's a good game that we play a lot at school because there's a video aspect to it. It's like trivia on the screen. Anyway, it's popular in schools. Let's see here. Oh, James has a nice comment about veterans. You can read that. That's very interesting, James. Okay, Katie, by the way, is going 9-4-3-6. Or sorry, 4-3-6 in this race. Let's talk about the 8. Paul, the 8 is interesting. The number 8 is Matina for Hansen and Escobedo. Real nice combination. She is really quick. I mean, like at any level, the first 2 furlongs, 3 furlongs, she is very fast. The problem is she doesn't usually get the job done. And last time, boy, did she drop anchor like really bad. However, there is a work since, and they are dropping her down, but at least she's racing again. So I guess that's a positive. And you're almost guaranteed to have this horse on the lead. In this kind of race, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I thought there was a pretty precipitous class drop, she was not in for a tag last time. Now, the time before it was closer to this, but it was still 25 down to 22.5. This is by far the lowest level she's ever been at. They paid $175,000 to breed to not this time. So this is probably not what they had in mind, a 16,000 claimer. But
No.
Regardless, that's where they are. And I just think, sometimes these horses with these big class edges who look like they're going to go the lead, they often forget that they're supposed to stop.
And it favors front runners. I have to admit, guys, and I want to full disclosure, I was gonna have this 8 in the top 3. I just chose to try to beat her, but you guys are most likely gonna be right over me, to be honest, in this race. I'm gonna use the 8. I just there's not a lot of other speed. That last race was just so incredibly bad, and they didn't have to drop her down this far, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you and Paul, I think you and Peter are probably gonna be correct in this situation. And you want to add to what what Paul said, Pete. And you guys have
Yeah,
one also. I noticed. I didn't realize you guys like my one as much as I originally thought.
yeah, we both do. The only thing I'll mention on Matina, I had one stat that I think you'll like, Paul. So Ryan Hansen, interesting. He's 4% wins first after the claim, and it goes all the way up to 26% wins second after the claim. So they claimed him, and I wonder if that's maybe bad spotting after the claim, and that's sort of the reason for it. I don't know. This one they maybe shot like similar to what we talked about with the one, maybe shot a little too high with this horse last time out, but now getting back to a reasonable level and with the pace advantage, and with Hansen maybe improving horses second time he has them, put that all together, and it could be dangerous.
Yeah, and I like that combination. If you're not familiar with Ryan Hansen and Escobedo, they do a solid job. They're going to absolutely win the penultimate race. Guys, let's go on to the last race, not of the weekend because there's Memorial Day, but the last race on Sunday. Here it comes on the bottom of the screen with our picks as well. I am going to go 5-9-2 in the finale. Look at Pete.
Oop,
Pete's
wrong
agrees
race.
with me. He's going 5-4-2, and Paul's going 4-2-9 in the last race, which is right here. It's a main special weight, 6.5 furlongs on the turf, 3-year-old fillies mainly, Calbreds. Wow. I know Paul cannot wait for this race to occur at what time? Let's see. It'll be 8:30 there out on the East Coast, Paul, that you can bet this race. I know you're extremely excited. There's also, by the way, 3 AEs. So could be a field of, let's 11. We'll see. I don't think they can hold more than 11 going that flat. By the way, it's a flat 6.5. Again, I'm going 5-9-2, Pete 5-4-2, Paul 4-2-9. Paul, Darlin, Tammy, Jeff Bondi, and Orantes. That's your guess.
Yeah.
Guess? You're not insulted by that, are you?
No. Well, I think the real guess involved here is, looking at the first time starters, the 3, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, the 11. That's where the guessing comes in. I got stats on all of them. I dug down and did some stats. And honestly, I think it's probably the type of race where you want one of them. But I just couldn't come up with anything that compelling. Obviously, it doesn't help in the pick 4, but you certainly want to watch the board playing this race individually.
Definitely.
And seeing what happens. I mean, this 4, my 4's had 5 chances. Got bet last time and, did what he does best, and which is not get his picture taken. Get her picture taken. The horse she lost to 2 back came back and ran 6th in an allowance race, so that's nothing special. Blinkers off is not a great angle for Bondi. I just
you're supposed to say good stats when you're talking about the horse you have on top.
Well, it's just the lesser of 2 evils, right?
No, I'm just joking.
Because Pete, without knowing anything virtually about these first timers, a 68 to 70 buyer might be pretty damn formidable here. That was my thinking.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely the kind of race, if you have workout reports or some information, that would definitely help here. So it's not like we are a bit blind into the pick 4 because we can't see the board, but obviously, courtesy of DRF, we get workout reports and some other things. You can look up, trainer stats. For those of you that are less experienced handicappers, don't be so negative or wishy-washy on first-time starters. If you really deep dive like we do, you can find out some information. That being said, it is still a guessing game, and we are going with one of those first-time starters, a Harris Farm horse. Sound familiar, guys? We've talked about Harris Farm quite a bit tonight. This is Severe Clear for Dean Pedersen, Pereira, Avronsky filly out of a Street Sense dam. My senses, there's some interesting things to like. Pete, I'll let you expound because this is my top pick also, number 5. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, there was a couple negatives. I'm going to sort of go the Paul route here, but on the sire side, it wasn't, first time starters like 10%, turf sprints 11%, and then on the dam side though 1 for 16 on the turf. But what I liked, working well on the dirt. So again, it's hard when you're looking at the works and then they're going to put the horse first time on the turf, but has at least been working well, especially like something I think that was on the last show you talked about it, Howard, where the works are started getting increasingly faster as we got close. So that last one is sort of the best work on the page, and you're like, okay, now they know, like, oh, now this horse is ready to run, or we got the horse ready to run. And Pedersen, 3 for 6, 6 for 6, 3 for 6 wins, 6 for 6 in the money with his last 6 first-time starters. All of them been on dirt, but he's at least been hot with these first timers. So I'm looking at a horse that just maybe looks to be in good form. He's been really good with the first timers, and just maybe has this horse just ready to roll off the first out.
Pete, 20% win, 46% of the money with Pereira riding for Pedersen. Those for two guys that are not overly well known, or like not the highest percentage trainers and jockeys, that's very high. That's like, I put that equivalent to like Irad and Chad at like 45%. I mean, that's really that's very good. So I think there's a lot of intent here for a severe clear. I couldn't find too many workouts. I'll have to look at the workout report. But again, as the astutely educated Paul Halloran mentioned, it may not take much to actually win this race. Another first-time starter, I believe, is the 96789. I think is that Goatsky or is that Ellen? No, it's Ellen North, right?
No, Ellen Jorth is the 9.
Ellen Jorth. I like Ellen Jorth a little bit also for a lot of the same reasons. D'Amato can win first out. The 59 handily, again, the works are good. Freysu sticking around for a Calbred race. I found that interesting. Again, the breeding good enough. We're doing a lot of guessing here, guys. So we've got a lot of these horses to consider.
You know what's weird there, Howard? D'Amato, 6% wins first-time starters on turf, which that actually shocked me. I was like, I never would have thought that.
Well, you know what? He's good. He's good with European imports, what feels like first-time starters because they're first time in the country, but obviously
first
not
time here.
First-time starters, right? So we also have Ride Elbow Ranch, interesting name. Clubhouse Ride is the sire. The dam I know very well, guys, because this Cause Ioya and Giants Causeway, this has Chicago connections with a really good underrated trainer in Chris Block. And Cause Ioya ran at Arlington, God rest its soul. And there's, the siblings, this Ioya too. Actually, it's not Ioya too, but this family, this Ioya family is actually well known in the Chicago area because Chris Block had a lot of horses. So that's very interesting breeding on Ride Elbow Ranch, who probably needed that first start, is probably more of a turf runner. That's the 2. So anyway, guys, a lot of very interesting ways to go here in the last race. It's just a very, very tricky sequence. Let's talk about our best bets tonight, guys. Pete, I'm going to have you go first. $3 pick 3, 357 with 1-8 with 5 in race 8. And then you're playing a $5 double, 1-8 with 5. Go ahead and talk for a second about those bets.
Yeah, I was going to stick with, so I said I kind of like the 5 here. And again, I think it's similar. I forget what race we were talking about where Paul, it might have been on the last show, where Paul was like, either you're taking the top choice, or maybe it was the first of this sequence. It was like, either you're taking the top choice and singling, or you can go like 5, 6 deep. And I was looking at taking a shot here, singling sort of severe clear on the back end of both of these bets and see if we can get one. I like these 2 bets. I want to see if we can get one of them or both of them home.
I think so. And you know what, Pete? I'm going to try something in real time. I'm going to focus on Peter a second. See, I can do this. Let's see if I can.
Look at that.
Ooh, how about that, Pete?
Wow. That is nice.
What do you think next time for Paul on the rant? Put him in the circle. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that.
That'd be nice,
it's
right?
very professional. It looks like,
Look at that.
Ooh, look at those.
Ooh, we can have some fun. All right. Paul's like, when is the show over? Let's move on. All right. Am I right? Am I right? Sorry, Paul. We're getting a little giddy here, folks, later in the evening. Let's go ahead to your best bets if I can get them back up, Mr. Halloran. There they are. Race 8. That's a typo on my part. Is it race 8 or race 9, Paul? Well, I'm sorry.
It is race 9.
What did I do?
So you're singling also in this last one, Paul.
Yeah, I went with the 4, Pete. I just
4,
figured same thinking. I like playing the late double, the $5 late double, and
there we go.
Same thinking that you could go 10 deep or 1 deep, and I went preferred to have some options in the previous race. The 1 and 8 we talked about, and I threw the 4 in there, whom I picked third.
Okay, so Paul's going $5 daily double, 148 with 4 for $15. My best bet. I'm also going to race 8. I'm going to go a $3 pick 3. I'm just going to take a stand here, guys, with number 3, Unrivaled Hero. It's a bit of a guess. It's a risky kind of single, but I think we're getting despite that replay, Pete, I still have a feeling this horse will be 4-1, 9-2-ish, just gut feel. So I'm going to single the 3 in race 8, Unrivaled Hero, with 1-4-5-8 with 2-5-9 for a $36 $3 pick 3. And if I'm right in race 8, I think with a big shot, guys, to cash a nice pick 3. And if I'm wrong, Paul knows what I'll do. What will I do, Paul, if I'm wrong in the third to last race of the pick 4?
$5 daily double, please.
There you go.
I don't think there's any. You think there's any big favorites in? I didn't think there was any big favorites that stuck out to me in this sequence, right?
Unless the Speed Horse 8 might.
Oh, maybe that 8.
5,
yeah, maybe the 8. I think could get bet down. You're right, just from a pace standpoint.
I don't know. It's very interesting, guys. We are up to episode 21 here on Great Race Plays, and we really do appreciate everyone's viewership. Again, make sure you hit the like button below the video player, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also should mention this more, guys. There's our X handle right there, at HHH Racing Pod. Pete's is right. Well, not quite. His finger is a little bit off, but at PVisco28. That's interesting.
It's right in the middle.
Okay.
It's right in the middle on my screen.
Watch the show. Okay.
Yeah, on my screen, it's right in the middle.
Let's see, the middle of the name tag. And Paul is at PKH.com Horsey. Do you have to put the horse in there, Paul, to get to your X?
Totally optional.
Totally optional. All right, guys. Look, we've had a great time here tonight between our 2 shows covering Santa Anita like a glove. I'm not just saying this because we have 2 shows and we're sponsored by Santa Anita. I will absolutely be playing Santa Anita this weekend, Sunday and Monday, and maybe even a little bit Saturday as well. For my good friends and co-hosts, Pete Visco, Paul Halloran, this has been your host, Howard Kravitz. Very, very happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone. And make sure that you do one thing, and that is to simply crush your bets in the late pick 4 on Sunday at the Great Race Place. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.